Sentence to Be a Hero fans? This is Chris Bolts, and I'm coming in with an episode review of this week's episode of Sentence to Be a Hero, simply titled Episode 7, apparently. Now, before I do get into the content, do make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that stuff really does help me out. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat. This is going to be the very first episode since the first episode that absolutely impressed me. I was very impressed with this overall episode, and at first I didn't actually start getting turned on by it or anything like that, because if you look at things here in the beginning, there is a lot of still images, as you can see right here, and the studio still uses a lot of shortcuts in my view to try to go ahead and make this animation look much better than what it really appears to be, or to make it look like an animation at all. Still images, frames that keep sliding in and out, a lot of sliding in frames and all that. Lots of PowerPoint presentations both here and there within this episode. So I decided to go ahead and do a little digging on the studio. The studio that's actually doing this one is called Studio Kai, and they're actually a relatively new studio. As you can see up here, it says it was founded in June 2019. So it was founded by a company called ADK Emotions. They don't have a lot of production under them, and they are a very small studio. You see right here that they had a loss in 2020. In fact, although they do have some other properties under them, such as Uma Musume, which is a really huge game series that's done by Psy Games. It has a really huge anime. In fact, there's a movie coming out for Uma Musume. Skeleton Knight in Another World is a really good anime as well. Make sure you guys check out the first season of this one. There's going to be a second season coming up. They also did Prince of Tennis, which I wasn't too impressed with. Now, I'm not a Prince of Tennis fan or anything like that, so maybe you guys who are Prince of Tennis fans probably found it to be good. But truthfully, their largest property that they are doing right now is Sentenced to Be a Hero. This is their biggest property that they've got come out. You know that they actually went in there and then they decided to go ahead and trademark the name, which is kind of interesting that they did it right after the debut of episode 1. And that makes good sense, because Studio Kai is a very small studio, and they have their first, according to them, they have their first huge hit on their hands with Sentenced to Be a Hero. And like I said, that first episode really was impressive, but every episode since then I was pretty disappointed until we got to this one right here. This episode really does a really good balance of bringing in new characters and building up the world. This new character right here, his name is Jace. He's a hero. He happens to be a dragoon. He has a dragon that's named Neely. Very cool character. He's kind of like that tsundere type character that's always angry, that's always mad, but you know you can rely upon him. He's right here talking with Xylo, telling him the status of Rhino. Rhino is the other one that's supposed to be part of this group of heroes, but he does his own thing. He goes about doing his own way, and Jason's letting him know he's going to be in the cell for a while. During this entire incident right here, speaking with Venetum right here, Venetum actually drops the dime on Xylo, letting him know that his fiance Frenchie is wanting to speak with him. Now, we didn't know. That's one cool thing that we know. This lady right here is Frenchie. She happens to be a noble. She was engaged to Xylo before he actually became a hero. And Xylo dropped some additional information about heroes. And apparently in this world, if you're labeled a hero, you're not considered human. And if we go back to last week's episode, where we saw Tatsuya getting a lot of the action in that particular episode when they were defending that fort, notice that some of the Galtil guards were saying that he's like a demon. Well, that's basically how they see these heroes. They don't see these heroes as human. They see them as something completely different. So they're going to be in this town right here, and in this town, Captain Kivia has assigned Xylo to basically guard Terrarita, which you don't really have to tell him to do that, because he's going to do that anyway, because apparently in this town there's some a rival church group that does not see Terrarita as a goddess, and they want her dead. And as he's talking with his fiance here, Frenchie actually says that she's in town because she's trying to track down a demon blight, and this demon blight is known as a Spriggan. This Spriggan has the ability to shapeshift and become a human, and that's why she's in the town. So this is a really good episode because we're learning a lot more about this world. We're learning a lot more about some of the new characters that are coming in. But the thing that I always say about Sentenced to Be a Hero is that it's an anime that needs to rely upon more action than story. The story that we're getting, at least in this episode, has been pretty good thus far, but what we really are looking for is action, and we definitely get that in this in episode in spades, especially towards the end when there's a group of coexisters. These coexisters are the ones that want to be partnered with the demon blight. They don't want to kill off the demon blight or anything. They want to live in harmony with them. They're coming around and they're chasing after Teorita, and they do this very public assassination right here where Sav, who is the sniper, but he's a stone cold killer. He kills one of them right in front of all these people, and you see these people right here in the back. These are all assassins, obviously, because you see how they're all dressed and everything. They, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, they say that they know that they're not any assassins from the church because they're not trained. They just come in there and they're just attacking relentlessly. So they run off, and we get here, and this is the first time we see some really good excitement. This character right here, she has some secret. Her name is stbah, and there's another one that's going to be coming up here. Her name is Bumon, and this is the first time where we see some really good action from all the characters. Kivia is going to be attacking. Xylo is going to be attacking. You saw a really good arm right here with that arm technique, this explosion technique that we have going right here. So it's a lot of good things that's going on. This is the new guy right here. His name is Bumon, and I'm not going to show why his hand is all bloody right there, but let's just say that there was a guy that was interrupting him while he was talking to this woman right here, stbah, and he let him have it. So you see right here, Kivia performs some type of technique that protects them, and Bumon, he jumps into action. Bunum, I think his name is, jumps into action, and they just go all at it. And I'm like, wow, this is what I've really been expecting from let me just rewind it back just a little bit here. This is what I've been expecting from Sentenced to Be a Hero ever since we saw that first episode. Was just really crazy action scenes, really crazy fights, and we got it in this particular episode right here. As you can see, some really crazy action by both Xylo and the new villain that's been introduced, Bunum, which I think is really good that they're getting away from just focusing on the demon blight and coming in here and introducing an actual villain that has a face to what's going on here. And so we got stbah and we have Bunum, and they obviously can't turn on a fight, but this is where Jace comes in with this giant dragon and just blows this fire down on all of these enemies. You see some of them burning right there, but at the end of it all, we see that that guy actually survived. He actually survived that fire from being burnt, and that's where Teorita says, I think who we just met was Spriggan. So this was a really good episode from beginning to end. Really good lore building, character development, really good advancement of the story. We got the introduction of two new villains that give us a face to the coexisters, one of the factions that the heroes have to deal with and contend with in this anime. And then we got that really good action scene at the end, which I have no complaints about or anything. Again, at the beginning of this, I thought I was going to be disappointed because I saw a lot of the still frames and all that, but thankfully Studio Kai came through and delivered a really good banger of an episode. Again, they're a young studio, and Sentenced to Be a Hero is their big property right now. Obviously, they're going to try to put more into this. I'm pretty sure they're going to say we're going to go right into a second season. I hope they give it a second season, because like I said, I was disappointed, but that doesn't mean that I don't like what I'm seeing or anything. So I'm going to give this particular episode 7, a 9 out of 10. Really liked it. Really great animation for the most part. Really great excitement. Really great advancement of the story, character development, and world building. Really liked the episode. What did you guys think about this episode? Jump down in the comments and let me know what you guys think. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that stuff really does help me out. And remember, This is Chris Bolts signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.